Hey, it's Les from the TV Dudes. I can't believe that this year at ATX Fest I got to sit down with the creators, producers, and cast of the TNT series Claws. I sat down in the back of the Roaring Fork restaurant with Eliot Laurence, Janine Sherman Barrois, Niecy Nash, Carrie Ann Preston, and Judy Reyes. They were gracious enough to chat with me for a few minutes before their panel, and I hope you enjoy.
I've been watching all of season one and then voiced it on a couple of other people. I'm absolutely loving the show. I have to say, welcome to me is amazing.
Oh my gosh, that's so nice. Thank you very much.
What initially drew you to the project? What caught your eye about this particular story?
I'm always obsessed with stories of kick-ass women who are taking names and doing their thing and being bad and having fun and balancing that stuff with real heart and a little violence, and fascinated by nail art. It's such a thrilling art form, and billions of dollars are trading hands in it, and I just found that really interesting as a female space to explore. I've always been obsessed with the filmmaker Pedro Almodovar, who creates these stories of these kind of ragtag groups of women, and I wanted to do an American Almodovar feel.
Yeah, that makes sense. I hadn't thought of it like that. But that makes sense. And on so much of your work, I feel like it's been the cop side of the story, or the hero side of the story. Was it interesting coming onto Claws and kind of looking at the flip side of that? Folks that aren't necessarily criminals but are ending up...
Yeah, I mean, I think I read Eliot's pilot and I felt like it was a modern-day Tennessee Williams, and I wanted to write about women. So often we're like the sidekicks to the male stories and the men driving the story. But to actually see 5 fierce women like drive the story was refreshing, and it was time, you know.
Yeah, I love the fact that even though the men are players,
yes,
and they're not fully inept, it's very much Desna and her crew that are making this work.
yes.
Kind of almost in spite of Uncle Daddy or Roller and Women Times. Was it interesting coming aboard as actresses? What did you guys do to make that crew gel?
I got there first, and then I wanted to make sure as many as I can I could read with people who were coming in, just to try to, find a chemistry. And then a few of the ladies I got to date before we went to work, to try to have some familiarity. You know what I mean? I didn't meet Judy till the actual table read. But the other girls I met prior to that.
And Carrie you'd worked with before.
Yeah, I worked with Carrie before. And then I knew Carucci. And when I went to New York, I dated Jen Lyon. I went on a visit. We tried to FaceTime Elliot to be like, see, we're bonding. But, so just try to lean in that way to see if, because you don't want to start trying to be like, trying to play best friends on the first day of shooting and you never even had a conversation with a person. You know what I mean?
But I will say just that showing up, I'll never forget showing up for our first table read. I only knew Niecy, and that was a magical moment in time.
Yeah.
The funny thing about that table read was that we all looked like our characters for some reason.
Yeah, we all had the essence of character already,
And I remember reading several times and being nervous about even going in for it and talking to my manager. And I always tell the story. I was like, I love the script. I was like, this is the real deal. I don't know. And my manager said, well, they can't find this role, so why don't you just go in? And I went in to my acting coach. And when I went and worked on it, I dressed like the character because I just felt like she doesn't say anything. So you just got to kind of like build it aesthetically. And I went in and I worked with you guys. It was like, it's just a work session. I was like, okay, I worked with you guys, and even going in several times and working with, they still passed on me. And I was like, I get it. I get it. I get it. And then the day before the table read, I got the job. I was like, oh, okay. And that table read was just like incredible. As you said, it was
feel
really,
it. You could feel
like
the
we all
Electric.
connected. It was really, really special.
It seems like a silly question, but I wondered it so many times throughout the series. How often does production stop for a broken nail?
Oh my God, great question. Every 35 seconds?
It's like nail down.
Nail down.
That's all
But
you hear.
technically not broken because we moved from acrylics to press-ons.
Okay.
So now we just say nail down, and somebody runs in and stickies it back on.
I mean, we have a full nail department, which I've never seen. Like, on the back of the call sheet, it'll be, like the ADs, the grips, the camera department. We have a nail department. We have a nail department head. We have at least 3 nail artists/technicians on set at all times.
Was it tricky to learn the amount that you needed to look natural doing some of this stuff on set?
Yeah.
Particularly, I'm thinking about you threading eyebrows and you sit down and go straight into that. And that's
Well, they put us in like a boot camp prior to where we had to learn how to do nails and hold the brushes properly, and we all walked away with a skill set I think we were better at than others. I was very good at acrylics and designs, and you were doing gel manicures and
Pedicures.
So we all figured out our skill set. Listen, if every nail salon in the world was over with for some random reason, the women of claws could step up and hold it down. And I practiced on my leg too when they taught me how to thread eyebrows.
Okay.
So the hair never really came back. I just late up at night I practiced how to do it on my.
You
my
sent me a
own leg.
video of you doing that.
Doing it late at night.
Yeah.
one of the things that I thought was interesting in season 1. It took me a minute to realize the difference in the real estate deal. Trying to buy a nail salon is not the same as trying to buy or trying to find a retail location for a nail salon. The added complexity of taking over an established business, and the lady from Glint sending someone over to secret shop, and all of that additional tension I had never really considered before. Going into season 2 with the second salon, but having to go back, can you talk a little bit about the plans and where it's going to go?
I'm looking at y'all for that.
Well, they never got the second salon, so as you say, they kind of reset at the end of the season. And in terms of where they're going,
And the crew came back.
That's right.
Yeah.
She tried to give it to
Follow
Jen,
them.
but she won't.
Well, she tried to give it to.
Yeah, we
That's
all
right,
tried to
but
get
that's
We all
really
passed it
cool.
around.
Yeah.
yeah, which really highlights the beating heart of the show, which is the loyalty and the camaraderie of these incredible women.
And now they're back working for the Russians. And like art imitating life, the Russians are here. And they're dealing with them. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I thought that was a particularly fun scene, the continuing one-up in the negotiation with the Russians.
Yes.
Where it's just, it's, oh, you got the drop. Nope, they got the drop.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
in planning out there's a mob story there that could easily overtake the human story. What were the concerns in the writers' room for balancing the crime drama versus the human drama, the loyalty between Desna and her little brother?
I think the show's always a tightrope. It's always a balancing act between, like you're saying, the mob and the human, the comedy and the drama, the heartfelt and the absurd, the beautiful and the ugly. It's always a very, very, very difficult tightrope. And it all goes to these ladies for making all of that crazy gymnastics seem real.
Yeah.
It's a testament to our actors, because we throw some stuff at them that is so wild, and you guys always make it human somehow. It's just really incredible to watch.
We try to make the crime drama the spine, but the character drama of each character, their arc, is what really drives the show. And slowing it down so you can get to know everybody. So this year you're going to get to know Clyde Ann. You're going to get to know more about Polly. You're going to get to know more about Desna all along while this crime drama is happening.
loved the show so far. Seeing the toughness we saw in Carla come through in a different role, a different way, it's just been amazing. Since Arlene and True Blood, absolutely adored all of you, and getting to see everybody on one show has just been absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. So much. Thank you.
The TV Dudes is an independently run podcast and a member of the Electric Sweater Podcast Network. We are exclusively listener-supported. If you'd like to help us out, go to patreon.com/TVDudes. You can like us on Facebook and Twitter @TVDudes. All the music for our show is by our friend and original TV dude, Gregory J. Amani Smith. To find out more about us, go to thetvdudes.com and electricsweater.com. I'm Grant Davis. Thanks for listening.